Yo, it's your boy Smoke Bath on Madden video. Today's video we're going to be rebuilding the New England Patriots. The Patriots are starting off this season 3-11, and we know they just lost to the Buffalo Bills, but Madden currently won't let me start the next week. But it doesn't matter. We all know that towards the end of the season they're going to be having a high draft pick. Let's go ahead and take an overview of the roster before we go ahead and get into the rebuild. They got the first round QB. Drake May, obviously. They took him with the third overall pick out of the University of North Carolina. Receiving core is not the greatest, neither is the offensive line. Tight end's not too bad with Hunter Henry and Rajai Stevenson at running backs. Not too bad either, but yeah, the offensive line definitely does need some work, and same with the receiving core. Your receiver one cannot be a 77 overall. That is just pathetic. Defense is not too bad. The middle linebackers definitely need some improvement, though. Christian Gonzalez is currently not active right now, but he is like an 87 overall quarterback, so we have him. And we ended up finishing the year at 4-13. So not a good year, but obviously we weren't able to do much past the trade deadline. Let's go and check everyone's statistics. I think that's going to make us have a top three pick, maybe fourth. But yeah, let's go and check the stats before we go and get to the draft. So Drake May, his first year, 2,466 passing yards, 18 passing touchdowns with 10 interceptions. Not really that great of a year, but I mean, it's a rookie. 66 completion percentage, a rating of 90.7. Jacoby Brissett, he played a little bit very early in the season with 828 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception. Rushing, Rachaad Stevenson, 865 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns, but then 6 fumbles as well, so that's pretty bad. Antonio Gibson, 458 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 fumble. Drake May, 429 rushing yards with 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 fumbles as well. So he had the same amount of fumbles as touchdowns, just like Rachaad Stevenson. So not really that great. Jermichael Hasty, he was able to get a little bit of yards, but nothing crazy. Demario Douglas, 719 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Hunter Henry with 716 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Austin Hooper, 388 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Jelon Tavian with 110 tackles. Kyle Douglas, Jenkins, and Christian Gonzalez up there for the tackles. Tackles for loss is Keon White. Sacks is Keon White. Danielle Wise Jr. Interceptions, Jarrell Peppers and Christian Gonzalez with 2 led the team. So these are the people we're going to be losing in free agency. Not any big names. Jermichael Hasty, I mean, he's the third string running back anyway, but yeah, not anyone too big. And this is who we're going to be signing in free agency. So we already showed you who we lost, and now we are going to be signing Will Hernandez. Definitely need to help that offensive line. We do have quite a bit of cap room, but there wasn't really anybody special on the free agency market. So Will Hernandez, a solid right guard who's not that old, and Jake Gibbons, who is a mid linebacker, but we need mid because we don't even have mid at our linebacker position right now because that's how bad it is. Now let's go ahead and get into the draft. They're going to be taking Travis Hunter in the first round with the 4th overall pick. He is a 79 overall. Ignore the fact it says he's out of college. I'm pretty sure it's a typo from whoever made the draft class, but yeah. Then we're going to take Isaiah Chason, running back. He's a 61 overall, so pretty rough second round pick. Jalen Hooks, pretty sure he's out of Penn State, and a free safety. 74 overall, then 66 overall, 64, 66, 66, and 63. The later rounds really don't matter that much because Madden doesn't let them progress anyway. Anyway, we did our first trade, though. We traded away Kendrick Bourne and Jerome Baker, or Jalen Baker, for a second round pick and a third round pick to get Jaden Reed and Quay Walker. We need receivers. We need linebacker. I don't really hate this trade that much. So after making those trades, we finished the next year 7-10 in the 2025 season. We are 83s across the board with an 83 overall team, obviously. So let's go ahead and check out the stats. Drake May, how's he doing? Not really that great. Not improving a whole lot. 3,829 passing yards, 21 passing touchdowns, 15 interceptions. That's a bad ratio. 64 completion percentage, and a passer rating of 86.3. Nothing special from Drake May right there. Rachaad Stevenson, 859 yards and 6 rushing touchdowns, and no fumbles this year, so that's good. Drake May with 392 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Antonio Gibson with 86 rushing yards and 5 rushing touchdowns, only 1 fumble. Mario Douglas with 41 rushing yards. Let's go and check the receiving. Demario Douglas with 810 receiving yards with 8 receiving touchdowns. Jaden Reed, he got put to use quite a bit, so I feel like that's nice for the trade. You got 8 receiving touchdowns. Travis Hunter, only 1 receiving touchdown and only 586 yards. Pretty lackluster year for Travis Hunter. Quay Walker led the team in tackles, so I love to see that. Good that we went out and traded for him. Tackles for loss was Davian Godnixo. And then sacks is Jenkins and Keon White. And Jabril Peppers and Marcus Jones and Keon White. And Jawan Bentley, Kyle Douglas, Jake Gibbons, and Martin Mappo all got interceptions. We're going to be losing Jonathan Jones. That kind of sucks. I do kind of like him. He's one of our better quarterbacks, but I don't know. We're just kind of, we need to shake it up, and he's asking for a little bit of money. We're going to get Rachaad Douglas. He's a better overall. He is a 31 though, which sucks. Or he's 31 years old, but he's an 82 overall. We got Rachaad White, 81 overall, and he's only 27 years old. Then we got Jalen Watson. He is a 78 overall and 27 years old. Calvin Austin, who's been having actually kind of an underrated year for the Steelers. And then Bobby Brown, we got him for defensive tackle. All right, now this is who we drafted the next year. We got Dom Goodard, auto-generated person. Obviously, we do auto-generated after the first year because no one can really predict what the next draft is even going to semi look like. So an 80 overall tight end. So I'm really glad that we got an 80 overall. That is good. But then we got a quarterback, a right end, and a receiver. So we finished the year 8-9, and something's really not clicking. Like, I know we still are missing a lot of pieces. The O-line still needs to develop a little bit more. We need to get more O-line. We honestly probably need to get more receiver, but honestly more defense too. There's a lot of holes in the Patriots right now, but it's just, something's not clicking. This is the best year we've seen from Drake May, though. Absolutely. 3,716 yards, 28 passing touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Still, I want those passing touchdowns to be a tad higher, and in a perfect world, those interceptions be a little bit lower, but it is his best year so far. Rachaad White, he's doing really good, 967 yards, 8 rushing touchdowns. I just did a video on Rachaad White, him versus Bucky Irving in a Madden simulation. If you guys are interested, link will be down below in the description. Drake May, he got 326 rushing yards, though. Travis Hunter, there we go. Okay, now we're starting to see something from him. I mean, it's not an amazing year, but 915 receiving yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. Jaden Reed with 7 receiving touchdowns, 850 yards. Quay Walker leading the team in tackles again with 82. Then Christian Gonzalez with 72. Then we got Anfree Jenkins, then Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers. And tackles for loss is going to be Bobby Brown, then Quay Walker. Bobby Brown with 14. Really good for Bobby Brown. Christian Barmore even was up there a little bit. Christian Barmore is the leader for sacks with 8.5. Interceptions is Rachaad Douglas, the newly signed quarterback that we got, with 4. So here's everyone we're going to be losing in free agency. Mario Douglas, Mike Onue. Really sucks. He's a solid right tackle, but I have a feeling we're going to be doing at least some trades or signing for offensive linemen here soon. We're going to be losing Will Hernandez. He's already regressed back to a 79 overall. He regressed really fast. So we do got some building to do on the offensive line. We're also going to be losing Anfree Jenkins and Antonio Gibson. So here are the signings. We signed Elgton Jenkins, an 87 overall left guard. Then we got Chase McLaughlin. We needed a kicker. And Eric Stokes at cornerback, 78 overall. Then Aaron Brewer, a center, and he is a 78 overall and 29 years old. Then we got Quentin Lake, a free safety, who's only 73 overall. All right, guys. Now, this is a lot of draft picks right here. We had a lot of picks in this draft for some reason. We got a right outside linebacker in the first round. He is a 74 overall. Then we got a 72 overall cornerback. Then we got a running back in the 4th round, 71 overall. Then we got a strong safety in the 5th round, 63. And then we got a 68 defensive tackle. And that's really it. With all these picks, you'd think we would at least have a 75 plus in this draft class, but we don't. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. But anyway, we're going to be doing a big time trade here. We're going to trade away Drake May. Now, we just took him. A lot of Patriots fans are expecting him to be the quarterback of the future. I'm sorry, he's really done nothing. He's only had one good year so far, and it does kind of suck that last year was his good year, so maybe he's starting to get into a rhythm. But it's more of me just not trusting Madden progression, if I'm being honest. So we're going to trade for Justin Herbert. We're giving up Drake May, A sixth round pick, a fourth round pick, a second round pick, another second, and then a seventh. Giving up quite a bit, but again, these picks aren't really going to mean all that much, especially later in the years. And I want to get a win down quarterback, Justin Herbert, 90 overall. In our first year having him, we finished 12-5, so maybe it is doing something. Okay, because that is the biggest increase we have definitely seen so far. We are still only an 84 overall, so our overall really hasn't gone up anything crazy. But yeah, Justin Herbert, let's go and see how he did. He didn't even have that crazy of a year, if I'm being honest. 3,655 yards, 22 passing touchdowns. That's a very low amount of passing touchdowns. 8 interceptions. That is a low amount of interceptions, though. But still, 22 passing touchdowns. Oh, man, that is rough. Yeah, I mean, I always hope for my quarterback to get around 30, but bare minimum, I want you to get that 25, 27 range because, I'm realistic. Not everybody is. Not everybody's Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, but wow, that is bad. Rachaad White with 1,200 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns. Really good year for Rachaad White. Ramondre Stevenson, 395 yards and 10 rushing touchdowns. Jaden Reed was our leading receiver with 960 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. Travis Hunter had 4 receiving touchdowns as well with 887 yards. And then Calvin Austin, 752 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. And then the tight end we took in the first round, he just got 5 receiving touchdowns. Jake Gibbons is the leading tackler on the team with 94. Then Christian Gonzalez. Then tackles for loss will be Christian Barmore with 16. Then Quay Walker with 9. Quay Walker with 6 sacks. We got to get more sacks. I want to see more pressure up from that defensive line. Our leader had 6. And then Jake Gibbons was leading with 4 interceptions. And we make the Super Bowl. So our first year making playoffs, we already make the Super Bowl. All right. I don't really feel like we were good enough to. That Philadelphia Eagles record really scares me. New England Patriots versus the Philadelphia Eagles, though, we have definitely seen the story before. Hopefully it goes to the Patriots this time. During the 2000s and the 2010s, I think a lot of people were sad or just tired of seeing the Patriots win. But anyway, look at the top guys. We got Justin Herbert, Christian Gonzalez, and that tight end we took, Goodard. They still got Devontae Smith as one of their top guys. So pretty scary. 15-2 a team, and they still got Devontae Smith. All right, let's go ahead and see who can win this thing. Hopefully we rewrite history. The Patriots get their payback. I don't feel like anyone, like I said, I don't feel like anybody really feels bad for Patriots fans because they did just have one of the greatest dynasties in all of sports, thanks to Tom Brady. But let's go in and see what we can do against the Philadelphia Eagles. No score in the first quarter. The second quarter, we are up by 7. We do a super sim, obviously, because we don't want to affect it. We have a 10-point lead, though, so it's 10-7 right now. And then they just scored. Oh, my God. They scored very last second. I think that was within the last minute. And it's a very low-scoring Super Bowl, but the Philadelphia Eagles win 14-10. But yes, we do a super sim, guys, to not affect the simulation at all. Obviously we can't have me playing because it's a rebuild. It's not a gameplay franchise. But they still have Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Devontae Smith, still have a lot of the key pieces that they have right now. I mean, they did end up going 15-2 on the year, so that is a really good team. Jalen Hurts, he had a passer rating of 108.92 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Justin Herbert really didn't perform that well in this Super Bowl. 0 passing touchdowns and 0 interceptions, 160 yards. That's really it. I mean, yeah, you got to perform a little bit better than that. Rachaad White, he did pretty solid with 55 rushing yards and averaging 4.2 yards per carry and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, he did pretty good, 53 yards and a touchdown. Calvin Austin was our leading receiver, 57 yards. And the tackles for loss, actually, is Valentine. And then Jalen Carter with 2 sacks, and then Quay Walker with a sack as well. And there were obviously no interceptions in this game. So these are the people we're going to be losing after our Super Bowl loss. Jalen Polk and Jake Gibbons. Jake Gibbons is really the only person that kind of sucks that we're losing. I mean, he was pretty good for us. We're also losing Cole Strange. I mean, that's a starting guard, so it sucks to lose. This is who we're going to be getting, though. We're going to get Creed Humphrey, one of the best free agents available. At 96 overall, he's only 30 years old, so he's at least got 3 to 5 more years. And he's a 96. And then we got Dominic Pooney, I believe, from the San Francisco 49ers. And then we also got Keon Coleman. So he went from the division rival Buffalo Bills to the New England Patriots. So we were able to get those free agent signings. And we did another trade. I wanted to go all out because, the draft is not going to be relevant for us coming up in the future. That's why I didn't even show you guys who we took, because we traded away most of our picks. That's why I didn't show who we took this year. But we got AJ Terrell. We need a little bit more help. Someone to pair up with Christian Gonzalez. So we gave up our first round pick, third round pick, another first, and then a second. Call it an overpay, call it what you want. The draft doesn't really matter to us right now. We are in win now mode. All right, and we make the playoffs again, going 12-5. This time our team overall jumps up to an 88, and we are facing the Buffalo Bills in the first round of playoffs with the 12-5 record that we were able to get. But let's go ahead and check the end of the season stats before we get ahead of ourselves. Justin Herbert able to have a 4,000 passing yard year. Really good year for Justin Herbert with 31 passing touchdowns and 8 interceptions. That's a great ratio, good amount of passing yards, a passer rating of 114.9. That is a pretty crazy year for Justin Herbert. All right, Rachaad White, he did really good over the 1,000-yard mark for rushing yards. 1,078 with 11 rushing touchdowns, 5 fumbles. That is a little bit of fumbles. That is quite a bit. Justin Herbert with 352 rushing yards. Dave Davis with 239 yards, an auto-generated guy. Travis Hunter is 1,036 receiving yards with 6 receiving touchdowns. Keon Coleman with 943 receiving yards and 9 receiving touchdowns. Tom Goodard with 877 yards and 6 receiving touchdowns. Dana Reed still on the team and doing pretty well with 6 receiving touchdowns and 710 yards. Rachaad White even getting involved in the passing game as well with 348 yards. Mario Overshown, I forgot to get the clip, but we did get him in free agency as well, and we got Tyler Nubbin as well. So the clip wouldn't save, but we got Mario Overshown and Tyler Nubbin. And then tackles for loss, Bobby Brown is leading the way, and then Christian Barmore is up there as well. Sacks is Quay Walker with 10, Mario Overshown with 9, Lucas Van Ness, and then Kareem Porter. And let's go and check the interceptions on the year. Christian Gonzalez with 3, AJ Terrell with 3. So AJ Terrell getting 3 interceptions. That's pretty solid. Not too bad. Mario Overshown with 2. And we're going to the Super Bowl again. So this is now back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. It's a little odd that both times we made the playoffs, we made it to the Super Bowl, but I am not going to complain. I hate the years when we just go to the first or second round and get embarrassed. Maybe Madden really likes this team. They like how Justin Herbert's on the team instead of Drake May, because they're doing us a lot solid. The only X factor we have is Tom Goodard. Creed Humphrey is a superstar development. They still have Aiden Hutchinson on the Detroit Lions. So let's go ahead and we super sim this, obviously, just like the other Super Bowl and the Detroit Lions. So let's go ahead and see how scary the Lions are going to be 3-4 years down the road in the future. It's a tied game at 3-3 in the second quarter. Now it's 10-3. Now it's tied 10-10 in the third. Really not much scoring, and then we get to 17. Oh, we got a 14-point lead with a minute left. Oh, yes, we are winning. The New England Patriots. The Patriots fan base did not have to wait too long, but they get us another Super Bowl, okay? So we ended up rebuilding the Patriots. You see the Ring Me celebration, Tom Goodard, and we got people pouring down the Gatorade. Rachaad White right there jumping up and down, one of definitely the key contributors to the team. A 31-17 victory. Justin Herbert with 2 passing touchdowns in the Super Bowl in the biggest game. 217 passing yards in the game. And then Jared Goff with 171 yards and 2 passing touchdowns. And then let's go and check the completion percentage. 81 completion percentage from Justin Herbert. Oh my, that is amazing. Rachaad White, 98 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, he was still a Lion, but he didn't do anything special with only 35 rushing yards. Dana Reed, 58 receiving yards and a touchdown. Travis Hunter, 5 receptions with 73 yards. Keon Coleman with receiving touchdowns and 63 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown with 4 receptions and 65 yards. Now the defense is Jake Campbell with 7 tackles. Mario Overshown with 6. Teron Arnold with 4. Bobby Brown, Jalen Hooks was able to get in there. So yeah, guys, we were able to rebuild the New England Patriots. We did this rebuild mainly because someone commented down below. So if you have any suggestions who we should rebuild, make sure to comment. Super Bowl MVP was Rachaad White. All right, guys. Well, we got Coach of the Year, as you can see right there. But yeah, guys, like I said, make sure to comment down if there's any other teams you would like to see me rebuild. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We have all kinds of different, more rebuilds and Madden career simulations. If you're interested in the Super Bowl winners, here they are. Kansas City Chiefs won in 2026, 2025. It was the Lions versus the Chiefs, 28-22. Kirby Joseph was the Super Bowl MVP, so it's good to see a free safety win it. And the Baltimore Ravens versus the Eagles 28-20, with Lamar Jackson being the Super Bowl MVP. And then in 2023, we all know San Francisco 49ers lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. So, guys, that's who all won the Super Bowl. It kind of was on a little bit of a rotation there, as you can see. But anyway, a little bit of a rotation, but we rebuild the New England Patriots. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Obviously, we're not able to rebuild every franchise, but we do try our hardest. So comment down below who you would like to see next. Make sure to check out our other rebuilds. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.